to get into this mock draft. No more playing around, no more games. Let's get right into the official reveal of our mock draft 2.0. Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear. Drake May to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. Malik Neighbors to the Chargers. Joe Alt to the Giants. Roma Dunze to the Titans. Leatu Latu to the Falcons. Dallas Turner to the Bears. Talise Fuaga to the Jets. J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings. Bo Nix to the Broncos, which is a very, very important pick now, especially that Russell Wilson has been cut as of today. So every
Oh
mock from here
wow,
on
how
out will have
surprising.
the Broncos taking a quarterback for certain.
Oh no, the Broncos didn't get anything for Russell Wilson? Wow, who's shocked? They're so dumb. They're so dumb.
To the Raiders, Olu 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 Fashanu, offensive tackle
Nah,
to the
boo.
Saints.
Boo. My name is my name. Boo.
Brock Bowers to the Colts, and Jackson Powers Johnson to the Seahawks.
All
You can
right.
go ahead and read them.
So, we'll pick 17. We got Terrion Arnold gonna go to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguars, I believe, received pick 22, and they also received pick 53 in the second round, which we'll come to talk about later. But the Bengals took J.C. Latham from Alabama. The Rams take Nate Wiggins, corner from Clemson. The Steelers take Quinion Mitchell. The Dolphins take Tyler Guyton. The Jaguars select Brian Thomas Jr. The Texans go ahead and get Graham Barton. The Cowboys take Jared Verse. The Packers take Cooper DeJean. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Chop Robinson. The Arizona Cardinals select Zach Frazier. The Bills take Troy Franklin. The Lions take TJ Tampa. The Ravens select Kool-Aid McKinstry. The 49ers take Troy Fatano. And the Kansas City Chiefs take Keon Coleman to end the first round.
Panthers take Adonai Mitchell. Give Bryce Young a playmaker. After that, the Patriots take Roman Wilson. After that, the Cardinals take Darius Robinson. Tavondre Sweat goes to the New York Giants. That's a trade up situation as well. They traded up from, I believe, 39. Made an in division trade to go get Tavondre Sweat. At 37, the Chargers took Ennis Rakestar Jr. from Missouri. At 38, Tennessee Titans take Kingsley Suamataia from BYU. At 39, back-to-back picks for the Commanders. At 39, the Commanders take Xavier Worthy from Texas. At 40, the Commanders also take Armarius Mims from Georgia. At 41, the Packers take Chris Braswell. At 42, the Minnesota Vikings take Bucky Irving. At 43, Atlanta takes Ladd McConkey. At 44, the Raiders take Jordan Morgan. At 45, the Saints take Malachi Corley. At 46, the Colts take Kamari Lassiter. At 47, the Giants take Jatavion Sanders. Keynote on that pick, in that trade, Washington received Darren Waller. So the Giants there take their Darren Waller replacement and upgrading that passing game with Jatavion Sanders. And at 48, Tennessee Titans take linebacker Edgerrin Cooper.
All right. And then to go ahead and finish off our second round in this mock draft 2.0 for Film as Art, with the 49th pick, we had Chris Jenkins from Michigan go to the Bengals. The 50th pick, Tyler Nubin goes to the Eagles. We have Michael Penix, who goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I remember correctly, was that a trade-up situation?
Nah, they just
Oh,
stuck
he
in
just
pick.
fell. Okay, yeah. For the Rams, they select Braylon Trice. The Jacksonville Jaguars select Devontae Walker. Um, the Cleveland Browns take Jalen Polk. The Miami Dolphins take Jer'Zhan Newton. The Cowboys select Trey Benson. The Buccaneers get Cooper Beebe. The Packers select Austin Booker. The Texans take Jeremiah Trotter Jr. The Bills get Braden Fisk. The Detroit Lions select Peyton Wilson. The Ravens get Braylon Allen. The 49ers take Javon Baker. And the Kansas City Chiefs round out our mock draft by selecting Cam Kitchens.
For the first few picks, right? The pick that'll probably stand out to people is probably Rome. Nah, let's start with the bull, right? Let's start with Joe Alt to New York. On Reddit, Giants fans were losing their minds, y'all. They were saying we because they don't know that it was us. They know who picked, but they were like, we don't know ball. Um, why would you draft a lineman when you have a legit wide receiver right there? And I don't remember who was picking for the Giants, but
Was it a?
if
I
I
think it was
do
Burner.
recall, okay, I'll speak for Burner. Do you Giants fans remember Evan Neal? Like, y'all keep talking about we got new coaching, we got new coaching, we got new coaching. Respectfully, how much coaching do you think it will take to make you think that Joe Alt moving to right tackle is not better than Evan Neal right now at right tackle? Seriously. Like, you guys want receivers so bad. Who's throwing Rome Odunze the ball in New York? And how much time is he going to have to throw the ball? Anyway, anyway.
um, for me, I think another one that, well, not necessarily that they would. I think for some people, the interesting thing. Now, granted, we didn't really have any. We didn't interact with any Seattle fans, unfortunately, because I really wanted to see how they felt about us selecting Jackson Powers Johnson at
Mm-hmm.
16, because he's mainly a center. And, as y'all know, centers aren't necessarily expected to go this high. 16 is pretty high for a center. And I
Right.
really wanted to see how some people felt. But the way we're coming at it is Jackson Powers Johnson he's the best center prospect clearly in the draft. And he could definitely provide you some position flexibility, but that's the way we looked at it. We was like, he's the best prospect. They definitely need some interior help, and we just went ahead and selected them there. For me, another thing I'm gonna bring up is, well, nah, I'll save that one for a different time. But I know some of y'all are probably shocked that we let Brock Bowers fall all the way to 15. But the way we look at it is after, because unless let's start at, I guess we'll start at 8, because that's about where, because I don't, if I was the Titans, like, no, let's start with the Titans. If I was the Titans, as much as I love Brock Bowers, and you do want to get a young quarterback, a tight end, more than likely they'll probably go after one in free agency, unless they just really like Brock Bowers, they take him. And I feel like Roma Dunze and Will Levis will be great. Um, Especially, I think D Hop signed a 2-year deal, so especially with D Hop returning, that could also help Traylon Burks as well. So that's why I went
Yeah, I was
ahead,
gonna
and because
say.
I was in control of Tennessee, I went ahead and took Roma Dunze instead. But going down all the way to 15, the Falcons, they don't need a tight end, obviously, with Kyle Pitts, even though they're grossly misusing him. Hopefully, he gets used how he's supposed to. Um, Chicago could go either way, but they already got Cole Kmet, who they really like. So if I was them, I would go ahead and I didn't pick for Chicago, but I don't mind them going with Dallas Turner as well. The Jets definitely need O-line help, so we're not doing that. The next two picks clearly need they clearly need a quarterback. And then even before we get to Brock real quick, I know 13 where everybody's gonna be like, well, why wouldn't they just take Michael Penix here? Because at this point, you already have five quarterbacks gone. Yeah, you already have five. No. Four, my bad. I'm tripping. No. I'm right. Five. You have five quarterbacks gone at this point, and the only person you have your chance at getting was Michael Penix at this point, and then you just have to wait. And I guess you get Spencer Rattler later on. The way we looked at it was at the time we didn't know, and we still won't know, unfortunately, until later on. We kind of just assumed that Michael Penix injury history just said the worst. That's kind of the way we looked at it, and that teams would be too scared to touch him. Hence why he fell into the second for us. Which, yeah,
Now,
you guys can make the argument it is kind of unrealistic, but that was just the way we were looking at it. And plus, the combine hadn't happened yet. We
hmm
had did this a week and a half advance to the combine, so
hmm
stuff like that. You wanna speak more on that before I continue?
yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, with his combine medicals coming back clean now. I mean, now Michael Penix might go much earlier in
Oh yeah,
our
no, he's
next
a first
mock.
round lock. And
Yeah,
some people are gonna say in the comments, well, he should have always been that. Well, that we were just operating that way of, well, we don't know what we're gonna see. He's had two devastating knee injuries, and then didn't he have a shoulder injury too? I believe.
yeah,
Was it
and
on his
also
and was it
people,
on his throwing or his non-throwing?
I believe it was throwing, and also people also have to understand this. There are five people that participated in this mock. So when you have five different opinions, people are drafting for different teams. People are trying to, get the players that they want for certain teams, schematic fits and all that. Michael Penix just wasn't that much of a priority for some of the scouts at this department. Like, I was the one who said Michael Penix should be a first round pick, but there were several scouts in our department that didn't feel that way. So you also have to understand that this mock is, a collaborative mock. It wasn't just, Artie or Cam's raw thoughts on where everybody should win. It was a group of five people. And even after we made each pick, we had to go back and make corrections. See what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah,
that's just basically it on the Michael Penix discourse.
which is true. Um, the Saints took Olu with the 14th pick. I would hope they would. Granted, like I said, Brock Bowers is a great tight end, but I would hope they would go offensive line help before they would go for a tight end. And then now, obviously, you see as we get to Brock Bowers, where for Anthony Richardson, this is a match made in heaven if he's able to get his hands on Brock Bowers to help out with that great receiving core. Because I don't expect them to not retain Michael Pittman Jr. Obviously, by the time we do
Right.
our next mock draft, our stuff will be a lot more concrete because it'll more than like free agency will more than likely be in full swing. So a lot of the big names will more than likely be gone by then. So we can go off of that. But that's where we felt when it came to Brock Bowers is we don't feel like Brock Bowers isn't a top tier tight end. I mean, as you go back and look at our big board, you saw where we had him ranked, but due to his
He was a
position,
top
he
three
can
player in
easily
the class.
exactly, but
Yeah.
due to his position, we can easily see him having a drop off like this. So that's the way we looked at it. Some of us, some of y'all probably won't even like that we have Latu going ahead of Dallas Turner. Because a lot of people feel like Dallas Turner, there's no way he gets past Atlanta. So, hey, Atlanta's gonna have their pick of the litter when it comes to edges if they, if they don't get a quarterback at that time. If they still need a quarterback, then They'll pick a quarterback here. But in this one, we had Chicago send. Actually, I'll let you talk about it since it was your pick, your trade.
Yeah. So before any picks were made, and before we because we redid this mock like 3 times, so a
Yeah, we
lot of
did.
trades happened. But basically, the trade that I helped orchestrate was Chicago traded Justin Fields to Atlanta for, I believe, a second and a third next year. So that pick that Atlanta made, they already had Justin Fields. So at that point, Atlanta was just looking to get a bona fide edge pass rusher to get active for Raheem Morris's new defense. So that's all I really had to say about that. To
Yeah,
the next batch, the mid to late first round. Definitely want to address Jared versus Dallas, right? Because everyone's gonna be like, y'all are Cowboys fans. Like, did y'all just let Jared? No, that's how the board fell, bro. Like, I did pick for Dallas, but Dallas just had some really good options. Like I said, we had 5 different opinions. You know, um, Jackson Powers Johnson went. Dallas Turner went. Latu went. You see, there was a massive cornerback run. Offensive tackle J.C. Latham went. So when it got about to pick 22, because that was my next pick for the Cowboys. I'm looking at it like the Cowboys are either getting Brian Thomas, Graham Barton, or Jared Verse here. Brian Thomas went. Graham Barton went. I left Jared Verse. And if I'm the Cowboys and Jared Verse falls to be at 24, I'm sprinting that card in. Jared Verse at edge with Micah Parsons, with Demarcus Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? That you as a Cowboy fan, you can't ask for a better pick than that. Because Jared Verse is a blue chip prospect. Jared Verse is last. And you got him at 24. So it wasn't, no cowboy glazing or anything like that. It was just how the board fell for it. Another fit I would like to talk about is TJ Tampa to the Detroit Lions. It's like the perfect puzzle fit. Like that aggressiveness, those ball skills, he's gonna excel in their defense. I'm blanking on his name right now. The defensive coordinator's defense.
Oh,
He's
Aaron
gonna
Glenn.
excel. Aaron Glenn. He's a hand made fit for that defense. And
Oh,
yeah, I think
I
that's the last pick I want to talk about. I'll let you cook now, but
yeah, I
yeah.
think we'll start off probably because everybody's gonna be asking about Kool-Aid because on most mock drafts he doesn't fall this far. I'll give you guys insight. I was picking for the Baltimore Ravens, and the way I attacked it, especially for because I know how we draft, I just looked at it as because a lot of them, some of them have us trading up. I've seen a few that they have us trading back, and of course that's very enticing. But with that, I'm more than sure we have a couple of people, a couple of players that you wouldn't mind scooping up and taking with the 30th pick. That we're just gonna do what the Ravens do. What does the team need, and who do we feel is the best player available? And the way the draft fell corner wise, because I feel like corner is one of our top positions. I did see a comment where somebody who was also a Ravens fan didn't necessarily agree with it. Let me see if I can find that, but I felt like us going corner just made sense because I still feel like it's a top 3 need. Yes. Do we need offensive linemen? Absolutely, I will say that because we are more than likely not taking. We're more than not like retaining Kevin Zeitler, so he's more than likely not going to be here. But I just looked at it as well. Terrion Arnold's gone, Wiggins is gone, Mitchell is gone, and then Dijon got taken, and then Tampa got taken ahead of us. Now I wasn't going to take Tampa either way, but I looked at it as well. Kool-Aid is still here. We're just going to go with the best player available approach. Oh, here it is. So there was a guy I read. He said cornerback, and I'm not gonna. Well, you saw other pick cornerback and running back, but we're only gonna speak about the cornerback one. Was certainly a combination for the Ravens. Our cornerback room wasn't bad, which it wasn't. Our cornerback room was not bad. I never said it was. But the thing is, you don't necessarily want to get caught up in continuously just having mercenaries. You want to just keep having mercenary men. You know what I mean? Because don't get me wrong, Ronald Darby and specifically Brandon Stevens played phenomenal. Remember, we just lost our DC. He is now in Seattle. He had a lot to do with that. He had a lot to do with that defense. I don't care what y'all say. He clearly, like, he did. He is the only reason why we even still had a chance at the end of that game against the Chiefs. He held Patrick Mahomes to 0 points in the second quarter. I mean, the second half. Not a lot of DCs can say they've done that. So I looked at it as, well, Zach Orr might want somebody defensively. And plus, these corners are on 1 year deals. Well, I don't know about Stevens, but I know Darby's on a 1 year deal. I know Rocky Sin is on a 1 year deal. So if there's a corner we feel like we could take, why not go back to that well in Alabama that Baltimore has done countless of times? I don't even want to. I don't even want to go through all the names of Alabama prospects we've drafted and get Kool-Aid McKinstry, who some people feel like is still one of the best corners in this draft. It just also happens that we didn't know that he was gonna when it was time for his evals to come in medical wise, they were gonna find a fracture in his foot. So now this could very much be a realistic spot for him because he's gonna have to have. Well, he's trying to hold off on having surgery, but he's still gonna have to have surgery. So this is a very realistic spot for him. That's why I looked at it like that. Another one that had a lot of people in the stir is a couple picks ahead was our Zach Frazier pick. So our scout Burner selected them. He felt as if that the Cardinals, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. He said, well, screw it, let's go ahead and get some inside help for Kyler. Since they already got him a weapon, let's get him some more inside help. I'm sure some people would rather them go ahead and get a defender, possibly maybe a corner. I saw some fans say that, but there's a specific one. I'm trying to find it where they were they kind of felt the type of way. Oh, because they were basically saying they felt that he could have, if we were gonna go interior, that we should have took Troy Fatanu, and we should have went with him over Zach Frazier, and basically saying that, all right, well, we're cutting, they're cutting DJ Humphries, so tackle is a big need, and our corner room is cheeks, which is kind of interesting because, well, here's the thing with Troy. Because let me pull up his measurables. With Troy,
You trying to see if he projects to go inside the guard.
that's the thing. That's something that we're not gonna. I mean, granted, people who are fans may know, because they have a better feel for their team. But yeah, we don't know that because some teams are very strict on arm length when it comes to their tackles, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what the Cardinals' arm length is. Now, granted, when we do our next one, we'll have more research. We'll probably just have to look up, the past tackles they've had to start with and research their arm length and who they feel comfortable with out there being with. But our scout felt that, well, Jack Frazier's right there. I feel like they need more interior help, so I'm gonna give them some interior help. And I'm not gonna disagree with him. I feel like he obviously knows more than I do because and that's another thing you guys gotta remember. We don't keep up with all of these guys. So another thing we had to do, we had to resort to going into some of y'all's Reddits for y'all specific teams and learning what needs, not just needs that y'all have, but learning who particularly y'all wanted. I'll give you another example. I did that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers has some positions in need, but I was like, it's a lot I could go from. Who do I want? I went into their Reddit. I looked at the mock drafts they put, and majority consensus was we want Chop. The only other person who was really close to getting taken was Kool-Aid because they said they wanted Kool-Aid, but majority of them wanted Chop Robinson. So I went ahead and selected Chop Robinson for them. So stuff like that, y'all have to keep that in account. That yes, we don't necessarily watch all of you guys, so we're still learning y'all needs as we go on. Hence why, and plus it's still early in the year. Some of this stuff is gonna look crazy because we gonna get to the free agency, and you guys are gonna take care of some of y'all needs, and now it's gonna be like, all right, we'll shift it to over here. So y'all gotta remember that as well. Was there anything else I want to talk about? I guess the only thing we could talk about is I'm sure some Texans fans probably don't like that we took Barton, only because they feel like
I
there's
don't
so
care how
many
they feel about that
receivers.
pick. That's a good pick to me.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with it either. I feel like it's a good pick because they do need interior help. But some of them,
Kenyon
you know how
Green
some
sucks.
fans are. Some fans want offensive firepower, and I guess my only other guess could be they probably feel like they're not going to move on from Kenyon Green since he is a first round pick. He was a first round pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they probably feel like, well, they're not going to move on from him so fast since he was a first round pick. Which, I mean, I guess it depends. At the end of the day, that was a different regime too. I believe. I don't think. What's his name? I'm blanking. The head coach. Who's the head? Oh, I don't think. Like, that's not to say D'Amico Ryans doesn't want somebody else. Nick Caserio was there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that D'Amico Ryans doesn't want to find somebody else at interior. So other things you got to factor, and plus, Graham Barton has interior flexibility. He could play center or guard, so that's another way we're looking at it too. When it comes to selecting these interior guys, the majority of the time they need position flexibility. But other than that, I think when it comes to this page, I think everything else we've pretty much talked about. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Try to be quick on this one, bro. Like only talk about maybe two players. I'll talk about maybe don't talk about one player. I'll talk about one player and then one player for the last one.
All right, let's see.
Yeah,
Who do I want to talk about? I like this one. Though. I ain't gonna lie. I really do like this one.
you can go first on this one because I already know who I'm talking about.
Um, let's go ahead and I guess I, even though my brother's not here to defend himself, we'll go ahead and talk about the Packers. So, our brother Burner, which you'll see on the next page, he obviously went corner in the first round, and then he went edge in the second. And by far, one of the most, the one team we had probably the most interactions with was for sure Green Bay Packers fans. They were very much felt the way. They definitely felt that we could have went offensive lineman here, and then even with our other pick with Austin Booker, they very much had an issue with it. I mean, I'm gonna be quick because like I said, it was a lot. But one guy, the Packers got Preston Smith to take a pay cut with Gary Van Ness under contract for years now, and Kingsley's coming back late next season, which he kind of already said something to think about. I believe if I remember correctly, Kingsley tore his ACL. If I remember correctly, that was their other edge rusher who, yeah, they did. He did look good. He was playing very well, but I believe if I remember correctly, he had a season-ending injury, and I'm pretty sure he tore something, but I believe it was his ACL. Are you that sure that we won't necessarily get another edge and go ahead and do it? And plus, you guys run an odd front. Y'all run a 3-4, so y'all have 5 techs, 3 techs, 9 techs. Like y'all do stuff like that, and it's not like we feel like y'all can't go offensive lineman here. We heard y'all and we understood what y'all meant because yeah, it does make sense. Y'all do need some O linemen because y'all are more than likely gonna try to move on for Bakhtiari. Um, but our scout selected what he felt y'all needed at this time. So
And to be
I
not to cut you off, to be frank, Chris Braswell is better than Van Ness and Kingsley. So, are you guys really complaining about an edge who could come in and immediately be your edge two, who's better than your edge one you selected in the first round last year? Are you really complaining about that? That's what people don't understand. Like they say we didn't do research. We didn't put any time into this mock. Chris Braswell is better than Lucas Van Ness, bro. He's better than him. And you guys are complaining. I get that y'all don't like the fact that he doubled up on edge, but it's like y'all don't watch tape like we do. Y'all have not put the time in on these prospects like we have. Chris Braswell's better than Lucas Van Ness. And I'm sorry, but Preston Smith just took a pay cut. He needs to lay off the sandwiches. I mean, his gut is literally piercing his jersey. What is Preston Smith offering you as a pass rusher right now?
and that doesn't
To
mean that he
stop you
can't
from
get cut.
to stop you from
That's another
drafting Chris
thing.
Braswell, a 5-star recruit who played at Alabama. Like, what are y'all talking about? And I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, because I know I'm cooking right now. Who said you can have too many pass rushers in the NFL?
If anything, that's where the league is heading. Most teams, as you can see, a lot of these top teams, they have two platoons. They have two lines that they rotate in and out. If y'all notice the snaps for some of y'all pass rushers and defensive linemen, you will notice that yeah, they play a certain amount. They want their guys to be in on key downs, but even if they can't be on key downs, they got another set of guys, so they feel like, hey, these are our guys. We can trust them to get to the pass rusher. And the reason why he more than likely went with Booker to go with the other half is he can do that on the line. He has a lot of versatility as well. Brazos more than likely will be an edge, but Booker, if they want him to, they can have him put on weight, and he could be he could be inside hands down. So you know some of these teams you just never know, and that's how they do certain things. But that is by far the most interaction we got with the pack. I mean, even from the latest one. Let's look at that one real quick. We had a guy tell us that we shouldn't have selected um we shouldn't have selected Cooper DeJean to the Packers. He's tired of seeing him mocked towards them because we're switching to a man-to-man scheme, and Cooper DeJean has showed poor mirroring ability and should be a safety. So, all right, how about this? Even if you didn't like the selection, another thing I've seen a lot when it comes to you guys speaking on Cooper DeJean, y'all feel like he's a safety. Don't you guys also need a safety? Because I clearly saw in other comments that people referenced that we should take a safety. So let's say let's say y'all don't like Cooper DeJean as a corner. I've seen a lot of people say that Cooper DeJean has just as good versatility at safety as he does corner.
He's not a bad
So
corner, by the way. But if,
and yeah,
like
no,
Cam
I
is
think he's a
saying,
good corner as well. But if y'all really feel that way, wouldn't you just slide him to safety then? It's happened before. It's not like this is a new concept. So that's the thing that was kind of confusing me from that standpoint. So but the Packers fans definitely interacted with us the most, and they definitely had a lot to say when it came to that. Was there anything else I wanted to speak on? Nah, I pretty much cool. For people probably confused on why Adrian Cooper went before Peyton Wilson. Yes, the Titans do need an off-ball linebacker, but again, like we said, we don't know how even with him as well. It depends on the medicals. We all know linebackers is a position where it's very easy to be unhealthy, and Edgar and Cooper hasn't had as many injuries as Peyton Wilson, and some certain teams value that a lot more. So Edgar and Cooper could easily be the selection for the Tennessee Titans right there in the second round, which that'll more than likely be where the first linebacker goes in this draft anyway. So other than that, I don't think I have anything else more to say on this page. Yeah, I pretty much liked everything.
yeah, for me, I'll talk about just one player off this page, and then I'll talk about one off the next one. So definitely want to talk about Adonai Mitchell going to Carolina. I think it's a perfect fit for Bryce. Um,
Too bad it's not
before
happening now.
before it's not happening now. Though
Too
we're gonna talk
bad.
about it in regards to this mock. For one, Adonai Mitchell just ran at 4.340. So you give Bryce a very, very fast receiver, right? But Adonai Mitchell is also 6'4". He's a good route runner. And he's a receiver who can really change, games for you, especially in the red zone, right? He's got it. Bryce can throw 50-50 balls to a guy Bryce can trust, on in breaking routes to catch the ball and get some yards after catch. So really like that fit in Carolina with Bryce getting a wide receiver one potentially in Adonai Mitchell, and then on this page, right, the Lions, fans gave me a hard time. I honestly don't give a fuck. I think Peyton Wilson to Detroit was one of the best fits in this mock draft. And I'm going to tell you why. Everybody keeps talking about Anzalone. Everyone keeps talking about Jack Campbell, right? You guys realize that Peyton Wilson can not only cover, not only fill gaps and do run support things, but he can also rush the passer. He can also, cover tight ends. So Peyton Wilson could honestly be a defensive chess piece for y'all. But like I was saying on Reddit, we have Anzalone. We have Jack Campbell.
Oh wait wait
Again,
wait wait wait
who
wait wait
took
wait before you keep going. Wasn't there a guy who said to you that there's definitely a corner y'all could take in the second round, right? What?
take
You
a
could have had
corner in
more
second
DBs.
round when y'all just took TJ Tampa? When last year y'all just took Brian Branch? When year before that you took Kirby Joseph and Afetu Melifonwu? Like, y'all are good in the secondary. You
Like,
need front seven
and do you think
players.
y'all are gonna and like why would y'all like? Granted, does it happen sometimes? Yes, but why would y'all think y'all would? Granted, we'll talk about one later that I will just wholeheartedly admit I messed up on, but we'll get onto that after this. Well, you more than likely wouldn't double up in the first and the second. Maybe later on, maybe in the first and the third or the fourth, but not the third and the second. And let's say you did want another D lineman. The only other one I probably would have said go ahead and go crazy here would have been Braden Fisk, and he just went right ahead of you. So you guys gotta and some teams just operate off of BPA because yeah, somebody was brought up that Anzalone's under for 2 years, but I'm sorry, Anzalone's not stopping me from drafting Peyton Wilson.
He is not.
And you guys gotta
Not
remember
with Clay
that too.
Posse.
Like when it comes to certain players, certain like at the end of the day, you gotta think, would that stop me from drafting him? Because
Exactly.
what corner do you feel like right here? I mean, do we have Chris Abrams Durango? But do you think he's a second round corner,
No.
or do you think he's a little bit later? So that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
tough, and obviously we'll work on our valuations for some of these guys, but we just didn't feel like there was a corner that we didn't necessarily feel like it would be too much of a reach. And plus, we're going to be working on our fourth round mock draft, and then we'll have a better gauge on who we can take here. You get what I'm saying? So we just went with BPA kinda, and we felt like Peyton Wilson is a great off-ball linebacker for you guys to have because we didn't want to reach for you guys to get a corner or a safety where it's like, well, damn, man, you could have got him in the fourth. You didn't have to take him in the second. So
Yeah.
that's the way we look at it. Oh,
You
maybe
can
I
go
saw
ahead.
someone who said something about weapons, but like wide receiver weapons, but y'all could y'all could
Mm.
get that. I don't expect y'all to invest in one high because I think I saw somebody talking about Josh Reynolds. Y'all not gonna. I don't expect them to invest in a wide receiver high. I'm sorry, I just don't. But y'all could definitely get a receiver in the third round who will be great. I mean, when did y'all get Amon-Ra St. Brown? Remind me. Oh, okay then. So it's not that
Yep.
y'all can't find late round receivers. Um, Now, the one I will talk about because we already talked about the Booker one. Um, yes, it was me. I picked for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, And do you want me to be completely honest with you? I completely forgot I had took Brian Thomas Jr. for y'all the um in the first round. Um, so yeah, notice how I said double up thing. I completely forgot I took Brian Thomas Jr. for you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I messed that one up. Um, but the way I was looking at it was, well, y'all are gonna lose Ridley. Again, forgot y'all had Thomas. Y'all are gonna lose Ridley. Y'all more than likely will cut Zay Jones, but y'all will probably sign somebody in the offseason to make up for that. But I was just looking at it like, well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he can get another weapon, and I think I saw someone say that I should have went interior or corner, but again, there was just no corner I felt I should have reached on here at 53. So again, forgetting I had Brian Thomas Jr., I selected Taz Walker, and I'm really not gonna try to defend it. It was a mess up. That was the way I looked at it, and I looked at it completely wrong. And the only thing I can really say is my bad, and I will make sure to pay more attention the next time. Another one that'll probably throw you guys off is probably why we have Jerzon Newton falling this far. I didn't pick for Miami, but the way we looked at it was, well, he's coming off of a foot issue that we just found out about. He's coming off of foot surgery, so he's more than likely gonna drop. Do we think he'll drop this far? No, but at the same time, this is just how the board fell towards us. Like he said, there was other people picking. They didn't look at him as a priority for some of these positions. Now, I could have easily took Jerzon Newton for the Jaguars, but the Jaguars were like 30, and what does Illinois run were they running a 4-3 or were they running a 3-4? Because I haven't got to Jerzon Newton yet. I've seen some of the other D tackles. I just haven't gotten to him.
3-4.
But when you were watching, they was running a 3-4.
Yeah, 3-4.
Yeah. So I mean, looking back at it now, yeah. Had I been paying more attention, I would have took Jerzon Newton here because I do know from y'all Reddit, y'all did want interior D lineman help, but we all pretty much completely blanked on Jerzon Newton. But looking back, yeah, I would have took Jerzon Newton absolutely at D tackle. We obviously had Miami taking them because we expect Christian Wilkins to be gone.
Yeah,
So
now he's
that
confirmed that he is. So yeah,
pretty much, and that's how that shook out. I got a little bit of pushback for it was mainly for one comment. I selected for Kansas City, for taking Cam Kitchens. Um, I mean, I feel like he was one of the better DBs on the board. I had you guys take a receiver in the first in Keon Coleman, where I mean, looking back now, yeah, would I probably switch it and go Adonai Mitchell? Probably, but at the time, I felt like Keon Coleman could be a good enough receiver that y'all would enjoy him, and he could maximize his potential. Being in a place like Kansas City, him building off of Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and get to learning under Patrick Mahomes and most importantly Andy Reid. I just looked at it like that, and then I had y'all go defense because I expected y'all to keep Chris Jones. Y'all were going to figure out a way to do that. That's the way I looked at that, and I didn't think there was a defensive tackle for me to select here because I didn't really see y'all moving on from Chris Jones. Granted, I know he's not a D tackle; he's technically an end, but he has a lot of versatility for you guys. Now, I went ahead and went DB, but I went safety because I know Brian Cook. He was playing solid for you guys before he got hurt, but I don't think that would stop me from taking Cam Kitchens. Cam Kitchens has great tape. He could be in the box. You can keep him deep. Like he's a very talented safety. He's very good. So I just looked at it as, well, you can go ahead and take him. And I don't know what type of contract Justin Reed is still under. I know Justin Reed has been playing lights out for you guys ever since you guys signed him. That was a great signing for you guys. but I don't remember his contract situation. I don't know when his contract is up. And I mean, he could very well he could very well take a hometown discount playing with you guys, Super Bowl winning discount, stuff like that. But I just looked at it as well. Cam Kitchens is there. I know Brian Cook had got hurt because I don't think he really played for the rest of the year, and you just take him. And that's how I looked at it. It's kind of like a BPA situation. So that's why I went with Cameron Kitchens there at that spot. But everything else, again, I didn't really have an issue with. I mean, I know somebody gave you a little bit of pushback for taking Javon Baker here. Well, we looked at it as we don't know
I
if
could
he.
care less about that.
Yeah, we
Y'all
looked
not
at it
keeping
as
Brandon. Y'all not keeping
exactly.
Brandon Ayuk. And beyond that, Kyle Shanahan's been needing an X for years. It's about time he gets one. And
And
if he's
then we
gonna
had you,
get one like Javon Baker. So
and then plus we had you guys taking an offensive lineman in the first round, which is, I mean, it's your biggest need for sure. Y'all D line pretty solid. I mean, y'all will probably take one. Y'all could possibly take one later. Maybe somebody wanted you to go DB here, but again, y'all probably gonna take a DB later on, third or fourth round, maybe anyway, because you guys still have Diamador Lenore who played pretty good, and y'all still have Charvarius Ward, so you wouldn't necessarily have to take one this high. I mean, well, no, because Hufanga. I mean, granted, he did get hurt in the year, but Hufanga's gonna come back, and you weren't gonna move Hufanga to free for Cam Kitchens, so that's the type of stuff I looked at here. And then I'll touch a little bit on my pick for the Ravens again, Braylon Allen. Somebody give me pushback. Another Ravens fan felt that we don't necessarily need a running back at pick 62. We have far more pressing needs. And I don't necessarily disagree, but at the same time, I looked at it like BPA. We need a running back. Braylon Allen's on the board. Let's take Braylon Allen. Trey Benson already went. I'll go with it. I'll go with him. And to be honest with you, I didn't really feel comfortable with just shoehorning a offensive lineman in there without truly knowing their evaluation. Because I'll be honest, I was very close to selecting Zach Zinter, but I didn't know if that was the right pick or not. Because yeah, I do know we're gonna need interior help, but I was like, well, let's just go with Braylon Allen, and we'll just look at it like that, another BPA situation. So, but other than that, yeah,
6. It's episode 6 now.
I believe
Of
so.
100 yards in context. Yeah, man, it's gonna wrap it. We'll be back next week. We'll start pumping things out weekly. Next week we're gonna talk about some, I guess, a light NFL free agency preview, and we're gonna
When
start
does the
talking
league?
about our position rankings, our updated position rankings, because it's getting closer. Pro days about to start happening. This week. Um, Before you know it, it'll be the draft. So we'll have you guys covered all the way up to draft day and honestly beyond. So
When is the league New Year?
but yeah, that's gonna wrap it for us, man. Uh, do the YouTube thing, do the algorithm thing, like the video. If you like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. You know, help us get to that milestone of monetization. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
And plus, we
everybody
got
up.
something in the works for y'all. Not gonna tell y'all what it is, but we got something for y'all that we really like, and we feel like it's gonna help garner more engagement from y'all too. So
Yeah,
stay
we're
tuned.
working on probably be become public this summer. But yeah, all good things going on over here at Film Miss Art. But hey, man, we took up enough for you guys' time today. Y'all